ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। We ended with chapter 71. In 72, Ravana is restless, agitated, udvigna, Valmiki says, because his sons, one after the other, have been killed. His brothers have been killed. Kumbhakarna, Mahmudara, Mahaparshva, there is half brothers. His youngest brother Vibhishana has gone away to Ramachandra's side. Ravana is in severe agony. So 72, 73, and 74 is what I spoke on during the yatra. So what we'll do is upload that class. If some of you have not heard, we'll upload it to the channel so you can hear the description of the entire proceedings up until the end of chapter 74. I'm going to start from 75 and continue today. But I'll give you a very quick 2 minute, maybe shorter, 2-3 minutes summary of that entire section, the 3 chapters. So when Ravana becomes so agitated, his only son that is remaining, Indrajit, walks up to him and he says, "Oh, my dear father, why are you in such anxiety, in such disturbed condition when your son Indrajit is still alive? I am so strong and accomplished that I have defeated the Devatas. There is nobody in this universe who can challenge me because I have defeated Indra. Indra is the king of the demigods. So allow me to go and I will cause havoc within the army of the Vānarās. Particularly, I will bring to you the dead bodies of Rama, Lakshmana, Sugriva, and everyone else." So Ravana says, okay. And Indrajit enters the battlefield. There's beautiful description of the chariot that he went on, the decorations, how he was equipped with all weapons and armor, etc. And he goes in and causes severe damage by the hundreds and thousands in the Vanara army. And finally, when he gets closer to Rama and Lakshmana, Indrajit, who's fighting this entire war invisible, releases the Brahmastra. And by the Brahmastra, the entire Vanara army has fallen Valmiki says the word Nishprana Iva, as if dead. Sri Rama and Lakshmana are also fallen down as if dead. Now, Ram and Lakshmana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they cannot be killed by Brahmastra, but they are honoring Brahmastra, and so they are also lifeless and fallen on the ground. It is dead of night. Vibhishana, who's surviving, with a torch in his hand, taking Hanuman with him, is searching through the Vanara army. And he noticed Rama, Lakshmana are completely lifeless. So they're looking for Jambavan to know what to do next, because Sugriva is also fallen dead. Jambavan, who's barely there, he has so many arrows pierced in him that he cannot open his eyes. First of all, it's dark also, but he can't open his eyes. So he recognizes Vibhishana by the sound. When Vibhishana says, "Oh, Jambavan, you're here." So Jambavan asks, "Is Hanuman alive?" So Vibhishana is a little surprised. How come you're asking about Hanuman, but not about the two princes, Rama, Lakshmana, or even Sugriva? There are beautiful verses. Jambavan says, if Hanuman is alive, we will all be alive. If Hanuman is dead, we have no hope for being alive. We have no hope at all. At that time, Hanuman was standing right next to Vibhishana, because he's being glorified like that, bends down and touches the feet of Jambavan and says something as appreciation and glorification of Vibhishana, of Jambavan. Then Jambavan tells Hanuman, please go to the Himalayas and bring these four herbs: Sanjeeva Karni, Vishalya Karni, Sanjat Karni, and there's one more. Bring those herbs, and that will revive everyone. He gives descriptions, and there's fantastic description of Hanuman flying 1,000 yojanas from Lanka all the way to Himalayas to find the Rishabha mountain. He can't, by the time he reaches there, the herbs know that someone who should not be here is here. So they all stop glowing and he can't recognize who's who, which herb he's supposed to bring. He becomes angry at the mountain, plucks the entire mountain peak away and carries it back with him. Lovely verses describing Hanuman on the way back. Please hear the talk. I'm sure you will also enjoy hearing what Valmiki is offering us. After they're all revived and survived, Hanuman goes back, keeps the mountain back there in its place, and the verse in 74 ends this way. And where is it? There it is. Tato Hari Gandha Vahatmajastu Tamaushadhi Shailamudagravegah Ninaya Vegad Himavantameva Punascha Ramena Samajagama. Very quickly, Hanuman, the son of the carrier of fragrance, put the mountain with great speed, carried the mountain back and put it back in the Himalayas. Punashcha Ramena Samajagama, and very quickly came back and stood right next to Sri Ramachandra. Now, what has happened is, because of those four herbs, the dead Vānarās have been brought to life. Those who had lost all energy in their body and were weak and almost dead got new energy, as if they have new youthful bodies. All those whose hands were cut off, whose heads were cut off, whose limbs were cut off, legs, torsos, they all got joined back. And all those who had wounds, their wounds completely healed up and their bodies became very, very strong perhaps even stronger than it was or they were previously. Rama and Lakshmana were also revived. Now these monkeys, the Vānarās, have so much strength, vigor, anger at Ravana. The spirit of fight is very, very strong in them. So Sugriva is now ordering Hanuman. Tato Abravin Mahateja Sugrivo Vanareshwaraha Arthyam Vigyapayamschapi Hanumat Idam Vachaha. This is what he told Hanuman so that Hanuman can gather all of his troops, Sugriva's troops, and get ready for the next course of action. He says, Kumbhakarna has been killed. Everything else that are the youthful sons of Ravana have also been killed. So now, except for Indrajit that is on Ravana's side, really Ravana cannot put up such a big fight or defense anymore. Ravana is weak. So this is the best time that when the enemy is weak, you strike even harder. As they say, the iron is hot. This is the best time to strike it. And so Sugriva gives the order. Ye mahabalaha santi lagavascha plavangama lankam abhipattantavashu gruhyolakaha plavangarashabhaha. Okay. Gruhya ullokha. Gruhya ullokha. Ullokha is torches. So holding the torches, whoever, ye mahabalaha santi, whoever is there within our army that is strong and agile, laghavascha, very laghavascha, laghu. They are light-footed, means they are speedy, agile. Everybody take their torches in their hands and march into Lanka and start burning it because the sun is just setting. Tato astam gatam aditye. So the sun in this reddish hue has set on the western horizon. And suddenly Lanka is glowing as if there is another sun, which means the entire Lanka is being put to fire. Suddenly, the monkeys had entered all parts of Lanka. They took over all the gates of Lanka. They were so overjoyed that they went into buildings, attics, streets, byways, alleys, lanes, into mansions and started lighting anything they saw. Tesham gruha sahasrani dadaha hutabuk tada. Gruha Sahasrani, thousands and thousands of houses were lit on fire. Prasadaha, all the terraces. Parvatakaraha, the terraces or the typically prasada means a seven-storied building that has grand balconies and terraces were being burned and they started falling as if mountains fall. Patanti dharini tale. Now Ravana's palace has fragrances, sandalwood, aguru. It is studded with pearls and gems and diamonds and corals, but the monkeys burnt everything away. One second. What's going on? Oh, okay. Doesn't matter. They started burning everything. So the fire, because the nature of fire is it has anything, Krishna says, if you add fuel to the fire, fire becomes even more hungry and it will drink as much fuel as you offer it. He uses it in the example of lust as a major fire. that can eat whatever sense gratification it's offered. So the fire was spreading everywhere. The clothes, the linen, the silk, the blankets made of sheep's wool, ram's wool, the silk, everything was burning, and it started going in all directions. Ornaments, all the horses, the stables, the chains wound around the neck of the elephants, the armors that the soldiers kept them for themselves, the elephants, horses, swords, bows, javelins, blankets, rugs, animals, whisks, skins of tigers, gems. The pretty much the what we heard in Sundarakanda, the description of every room, every place in Lanka was now burning. Now, one may ask, did Hanuman burn Lanka? Yes, he did. And whatever was remaining is burning. Even if Ravana repaired a little bit, everything is now again burning like anything. And as this is burning, all these famous Rakshasas in Lanka, one by one, their houses are also burning. And all of them were very fond of their homes and their possessions, like any one of us is. People feel a severe sense of pain and loss when their property is burning. The only one person who is not like that and got the title of Videha, Janaka, is when his kingdom was being burnt, he sat where he was and did not run to save his possessions. So the people asked him, the sages asked him, why are you not running? Your kingdom, your palace is burning. He said, I would run if I consider those items mine, but none of it is mine. So I have nothing to protect or preserve. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. The sages were so impressed by his sense of detachment, not detachment as in but his sense of that everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. That is the real detachment, that they said, oh, you are really Videha. Videha also means who's not attached to bodily conception of life. Now, these Rakshasas, uh, they were very fond of their possessions and they were wearing garments, hmm, very expensive garments and jewelry. And they saw while they were intoxicated that everything around them was burning. Yet they picked up their weapons and they woke up those who were sleeping, those who were eating, those who were intoxicated. They all were suddenly being flared up because the fire was moving fast. The fire was eating away all the houses that were strong, expensive, fancy looking homes, everything being burnt away. And Valmiki gives 20 verses in one group to give us what is going on there. The sofas, the couches, their furniture, everything else was being just burnt out. Their veena, their instruments, their all the artwork that they had collected, the possessions that they brought from different places. One by one, Lanka was under such fire that they were losing all their possessions. And everybody were crying, including women, because everything around them was melting. So as it was melting, it was so hot that their own jewelry that they were so attached to, they had to remove and run because even the heat was such that the jewelry was melting. And they were feeling the sense of scorching, and they ran down from their seven-story buildings and running out saying, alas, alas, alas. because they were not able to fight that fire. Elephants, horses, other animals, everything was let loose and they were running helter skelter. You can imagine the commotion, this stampede that is happening in Lanka. And so Valmiki says Lanka looked like the sea with alligators running wild with fear when the universal dissolution happens. The sense of panic was so much that Valmiki writes, Ashwam muktam gajo drashtva kvachit bhito apasarpati. When an elephant saw a horse that had been released and was running madly, the elephant became very nervous and shocked. Bhito bhitam gajam drashtva kvachit dashavo nivartate. And in another situation, elephants were running wild, and horses, when a horse saw the elephant, became so freaked out that the horse ran away. Uh, and because it is night time, Lanka is burning, and that reflection one could see in the water. In fact, it says, Lankayam Dahyamanayam Shushubhe. Shushubhe, it was glowing, it was resplendent. Cha Mahodadhi Chayam Sasakta Salilo Lohitod Iva Arnava. Lohita Lohitoda Iva Arnava. The ocean looked reddish in color. The women were shrieking, children were crying, older people were running here and there and yelling, shouting. The other Rakshasas were running here and there, here and there. Valmiki says that their yelling, shouting, screeching was being able to be heard, or was heard as far as 100 yojanas away. You can imagine how loud the clamor is. Now, to add insult to injury, as the Rakshasas are running because everything is burning and they're trying to protect themselves, this is the point where the Vānarās are punching and striking on the Rakshasas because the Rakshasas cannot strike back. They're running for their lives, and the Vānarās are just loudly the shrieking and crying out war cries and the clamor of the monkeys. Now you could hear the cry of the people of Lanka for 100 yojanas. The monkeys clamoring on top of this was also heard, and the entire earth was resounding with it. Udghushtam Vānarāṇāṃ cha Rakshasāṇāṃ cha Niswaram Disho Dasha Samudra cha Prithivīṃ cha Vyanādayat. Vinadayat. It was resounding. How far? Disho Dasha. All 10 directions. Samudram cha Prithivīṃ. All in all, of course, Lanka is an island, but in all directions, 100 yojanas far, one could hear what was happening in Lanka. So there are two groups of sounds. The yelling, crying, shrieking, freaking out of the Rakshasas and the Rakshasa clans. The war cries, the clamor, the joy of the Vānarās. And where did the Vānarās get all this? So we talked. Vishalyai cha Mahatmanai Tabho Rama Lakshmana. Now, Rama and Lakshmana are also being healed by the Vishalya Karni. That their entire youthful vigor is at full display. Asambhranto Jagrahaste Ubhe Danushi Vyare. At that time, Rama and Lakshmana picked up their mighty bows. Then Ramachandra, in this clamor, pulled the string of his bow all the way to his ear and let it go. So the string, the bowstring came back, and that reverberation, it's called J. In English, we write Jya. J. J is the string of the bow. And great heroes, when they would twang their bows, the enemies would get scared because that's how loud the twang would be. You will hear what Ramachandra's bow twang sounds like. So as he was bending his great bow and he let it go, that sound became so loud. Udgushtam Vānarānām cha Rakshasānām cha Nisvanam. We heard Vānarās and Rakshasas are all yelling and shouting. It's the same line Valmiki uses twice. But on top of this, Ja Shabdastva Babhau. In the middle of this, the Ja Shabda, this, the twang of Ramachandra's bow, Shabdavati Ramasya Shushruve. And on top of all of this clamor, everybody could hear the twang of Ramachandra's bow. So what we have to imagine, the dhwani of this is that the 100 yojanas far-reaching clamor and cry of the Rakshasas. On top of that, the shouting of the Vānarās. But Ramachandra's bow twang is so strong that they could also hear it. So the three sounds, Valmiki says, were filled in all 10 directions. What are the three sounds? Vānarod Ghushta Ghoshascha, the loud war cries of the Vānarās. Rakshasanam cha Nishvanaha, same line being repeated again and again, because that's what the scene we are being involved in. Ja Shabdaschapi Ramasya Trayam Vyapa Disho Dishaha. These three sounds covered the entire firmament in all 10 directions. Now, when people saw what was going on, Ramachandra started releasing incessant arrows into Lanka to kill the Rakshasas. Now it made the fear of the Rakshasas even worse. And as the Rakshasa chiefs, the team leaders, this one and that one, they were trying to run away out of Lanka, Sugriva shouted loudly, go to the nearest gate and start to fight and attack every Rakshasa that you see. At this time, don't leave anyone. As soon as you see a Rakshasa, just kill them, finish them. So in this, the whole 10 directions were put into so much confusion. Everything looked like Lord Rudra, Lord Shiva at the end of creation. When he becomes angry, there is so much confusion apparently in the entire universe. This is how it looked. Ravana sent, because he has, that's all who's remaining, a few of them, the sons of Kumbhakarna by the names Kumbha and Nikumbha. And with Kumbha and Nikumbha, they have their own assistants, and they followed these two, Yupaksha and Shonitaksha. Shonitaksha, bloodshot red eyes. Prajangha, Jangha, thighs, one with mighty thighs. And Kampana set out with the two sons of Kumbhakarna under the order of Ravana. Roaring like a lion, Ravana further ordered, "Oh, Rakshasas, go out and fight at this point." I mean, they're all trying to save their lives, but Ravana is yelling loudly, "Go, protect, go fight, go fight." So the Rakshasas, because Ravana is giving them orders or roaring, picked up their weapons and went out to fight in the middle of the fire. And both sides, the Rakshasas have their weapons, the monkeys have torches in their hands, and with fire they are fighting. Now, in this point, or at this point, the moon is in the sky. The stars are also fully glowing. And the scene is of fire down on earth in Lanka and the two armies fighting so badly. And it seemed as if although there is moon and stars in the sky, the fire in Lanka was coloring or giving light to the sky. Um, the sea that had massive waves started shining even more brightly as the fire was being reflected from Lanka onto the fire from Lanka was reflected on the ocean waves. Now, Lanka has flags, banners, axes, swords, horses, chariots. We heard all that is there. The Rakshasas were collecting them, getting together and trying to fight. And the whole fight is full of confusion, hmm, chaos, because everybody is fighting with everybody. So I'm going to skip some verses because the details of the fight are just fascinating, but I'm also conscious of time. The highlight is that the Rakshasas were just fighting. They're just swaying and moving their weapons. Whoever got hit got hit. And the monkeys there were also so eager to fight, so that they were throwing stones and rocks and trees. And as the Rakshas want to attack, the monkeys are coming at them in such a swarm that in such speed, the monkeys are biting off the ears of the Rakshasas. The skulls of the Rakshasas were being crushed by the fists of the monkeys, and the limbs were being broken, completely shattered, fractured, broken by all the huge mountain peaks that the monkeys were throwing at the Rakshasas. Even then, the Rakshasas are no less, they're still offering a good fight and attacking the monkeys with their sharp swords. And the way the fight is going on is very interesting. Gnantamanyam जगानायः पातान्यतम पातयन्तमपातयत् गर्हमाणां जगर्हन्यो दशन्तं अपरो adashat. So when one Rakshasa was striking another Vanara, one Rakshasa was throwing a Vanara down on the ground. The other Vanaras would come and fight with them, throw the Rakshasas on the ground, punch them, and start to bite the Rakshasas. So it was not one-on-one, it was one to many and many to one. And each of the Vanaras would loudly shout, "Fight with me! Fight with me! Dehi antyayo, dadantyayo, dadamitperaha punaha." Again and again, "You fight with me, fight with me. What are you doing there? Fight with me." And they would not allow anybody to resist. And this way, the armies were challenging each other, left, right, and center. And the way the fighting was that arrows were being released, weapons were being released. Vipralambhita astram cha vimukta kavachayudham. Vimukta kavachayudham. The astram, different weapons were being released. Ayudham, another types, handheld weapons were being released. Samudyantam mahaprasam Mushti, Shula, Asi, Kuntalam. They were fighting with fists, with spears, with pikes, swords, freely. I mean, it's not like organized fight. It was complete mayhem. The Rakshasas were killing monkeys at the rate of 10 or 7 at a time. And in return, the monkeys were killing Rakshasas by at the rate of 10 and 7 at a time. And everything, the armors that the Rakshasas were wearing were being pulled off and thrown away. Monkeys were being cut off by the weapons of the Rakshasas. And all in all, the confusion and clamor was way too much to handle. Uh, I'm going to pause here. It's only one chapter, but we covered about 69 verses or more. I want to see if you have any reflections, and I'm going to plug this back in. Meanwhile, let's see if you have any reflection. You want to share something? Anything inspired you from the war scene that you feel you want to share? You're welcome to share your thoughts. I don't know why this is. Ah, there you go. Okay. Any thoughts, comments?
Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances on Krishna Prabhupada. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Well, let me put this on. I can hear you better then.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances on Krishna Prabhupada. Again, the same thing, Prabhu. There is no end of this false ego. He's not even giving up. He lost everything. He's seeing everything. Any sane man can understand that I'm losing now everything. Let me give it up. Any
Really?
intelligent person. Ravana was a 10 head, most intelligent person. How can he
What
not
does
see?
lust do to intelligence?
He's covered. Mm,
He's seeing everything burned twice. He's been warned by others. Vibhishana, his maternal, his grandfather, they all warned him. But
yeah.
I will not give Sita back. Prasangam ajaram pasham
Atmanam Kovido.
atmanam kavayo viduhu.
Sorry.
All the kavayas, all the kavis, thoughtful persons, they know viduhu, that prasangam ajaram pasham. Ajaram, it never becomes weak. The rope
Bhagavatam
of
says that. Mm,
prasangam is only tightens, thus prasangam.
mm, mm, mm. But Prabhu, there is a sense of intelligence also, right? At one point, when you, I'm sorry to bring it up, even a stupid man can understand that everything is getting lost. My lust is not working over here. Just calm down. Because
No,
I'm,
I
I'm.
think that's not how the world operates, my friend. Some people may come to that understand. Some may, but have you ever seen gamblers? They never know where the limit is. They always think, next time I have figured this out, next turn I will do better. In the Mahabharata, the whole gambling is so treacherous because Yudhishthir Maharaj did not stop. He just went on, and he was being brought into the whole thing. Oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you pledge that? Oh, pledge your brothers. Then you get everything back. Pledge your kingdom. Pledge yourself. Pledge Draupadi. He couldn't stop. That is the nature of things. One doesn't know when to stop.
You are so right, Prabhu. Just a short thing. One of my friend, he came for a PhD in 2003. very smart student. And he got in gambling and he lost everything. Then to repay his loan, he married some white girl. He cheated that. So I understand what you're saying. The point of bringing this point is that there is no end, Prabhu. And I don't know how I'm sorry, Prabhu. It's too much for me to understand all these things. I cannot even fathom this.
Yeah, but because we can't fathom it, all we accept is Valmiki or the pastime of Sri Ramachandra is showing us that in all of this, Ravana is saying, go fight. This is the nature of the mind and Ravana and the whole, the Kama, Krodha, Moha, the six friends or enemies that we have. The living being, conditioned being, I shouldn't say we, conditioned living being has, that will take the person all the way to destruction. In Mukunda Mala Stotra, there's a verse. That very similar verse is also written by Shankaracharya. Andhasya me hrita viveka mahadhanasya. You know this verse. Andhasya hrita viveka. My discrimination has been stolen by thieves. Who are the thieves? Chorer balir indriya namadheye. They're called the Indriyas. And what are the thieves done? Mohandhakupa vinipatitasya. They pushed me into a dark well called Moha, illusion. Kulashekar Alwar says, Devesha Deva Maidehi Karavalambam. Please extend your hand and pull me out. Shankaracharya says, Lakshmi Narasimha Mamadehi Karavalambam. Oh Lakshmi Narasimha Deva, please extend your hand and pull me out. I cannot come out of this. Andhasya me hita viveka. Mahadhanasya. They have stolen my greatest wealth. What is that? Viveka. My ability to discriminate has been gone. This is Ravana. He has 10 heads. All of his intelligence has been gone. He's still underestimating Ramachandra.
Mm.
That fight is continuing. But
One
enough
last
said.
follow-up.
Yeah.
One last follow-up question. How can we subdue this Ravana in our heart? What is the best? Um, because I have Ravana in my heart for sure, and it's very hardcore Ravana.
The lesson for the conditioned beings, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but the lesson for all conditioned beings is first let Sita go. Vibhishana kept telling Ravana, Pradiyatam Dasarathaya Maithani, Pradiyatam, please return Sita back. That's the first thing. Let's return Sita back. Second is we're just hearing, Hemangi and I were hearing yesterday all evening the glories of Nama, Rama Nama, hmm, chanting the names of the Lord. And the Rama Nama, I mean, there was a long discussion, she and I were here, that everything one requires in one's life that's within this world and in the spiritual world is provided by one's reciting of Rama Nama. And that's the process we've all received from Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara and through our spiritual masters. Beyond that, I can tell you that I'm busy fighting my Ravana, so I don't know more than that. Somehow my Ravana has 20 heads, not just 10.
So is there any hope with all these things going? I'm not trying to go back to God, but is there any hope that we can get attention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and one day we'll
Yeah,
go back to our Guru Maharaj?
yeah. It's the volition from our side to turn. I will complete that verse that you and I started. Prasangam ajaram pasham atmana kavayo viduhu. After that, saeva
Krito.
sadhushu kruto. Saeva sadhushu kruto. Attachment can never go away. Even Bhagavatam says attachment can never go away. All you can do is redirect it. That intense attachment that one has for things or to one's bodily conception, the recommendation is change, reorient that to the sadhus. Sa eva sadhushu kruto moksha dwaram apavrita. Suddenly it opens the door for liberation. Although we're not interested in liberation, but it means that the door for living a eternal spiritual life opens. That is the that's the effort, if you will. That how am I being attached? Am I becoming attached to the sadhus? Intensely attached to the sadhus. That's work in progress for me. Okay,
Prabhu.
let's see if someone else has something else to say, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Tulya.
Thank you so much for you make Ramayana so sweet and fascinating. Even the war scene looks so inspiring, and a lot of lessons to learn from here. Thank you.
I'm just reading the verses, Atulya. So the credit is Valmiki's. I'm literally
Come on,
reading the
Prabhu.
verses. Just reading the verse. I'm not adding anything. Thank God I'm not adding anything. But yeah.
So, Prabhu, I was appreciating that usually we hear that it's the Lord who cures the devotee. Something saves the devotee. But here, it's Hanumanji who has healed or brought or apparently brought Lakshman and Ram to life. Back to life. So, do you want to elaborate anything on that?
I did a whole bunch in the Yatra class.
Okay,
It's
Prabhu, I'll catch
fascinating.
it.
Just the whole the way Valmiki writes and what Jambavan is saying is thrilling. It's very thrilling. It's goosebump, right? The Supreme Lord, who doesn't need anybody's help, gives center stage and spotlight to his devotee because it's his joy. Otherwise, just by taking Abhishek bath, how can Jagannath fall sick? But it's the opportunity for the devotees to offer different seva to Jagannath to bring him back to good health. It's a very special exchange. So Hanuman, not only Hanuman is just so great that he gets center stage with Jambavan, of all people. Vibhishana was surprised. You didn't ask about Ram and Lakshmana. You're asking about Hanuman. Hear those verses. The Sanskrit is fantastic. What Jambavan says is awesome. And then he's given the hero stage to fly. To find Sita, he flew 100 yojanas. To find these herbs, he flew 1,000 yojanas. Not just 1,000. 1,000 yojanas. 1,000 yojanas. Once everyone was scared, 1,000 yojanas and 1,000 yojanas back. 4,000 yojanas. And he does it one more time for Lakshmana later. And no sense of tiresomeness, no exhaustion. And the greatest thing is he immediately comes and stands right next to Ramachandra, ready for the next order. Rama Samajagama. Very close to Ramachandra, ready. What's my next order? So gives it wonderful services. Ramachandra is also in the bhav of a human being, so he's respecting the Brahmastra. There's so much at play there. Everyone is playing their roles perfectly. Ramachandra, like Narasimhadev, became angry at Hiranyakashipu and was in this angry state that even when others came to him, Brahma, Shiva, Lakshmi, Devatas, everybody came, he could not snap out of his bhava, that angry, fierce state. So they had to send little Prahlada, please pacify the Lord. Similarly, after killing Ravana, and we'll hear it during the Sita Agni Pariksha situation, Ramachandra is not snapping out of being human. So the Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narada, all of them have to come, the sages, and say, you are the Supreme Lord. Oh, no, no. Atmanam Manusham Manye, Ramam Dasharathatmajam. No, I'm a human being, the son of Dasharatha.
Hmm.
That's the intensity in which he's in his bhava as Sri Rama. So to enhance that, Hanuman has to fly and bring. In our home, we have deities. Everyone has at least picture a deity. And when you offer bhoga, if it is late, we do say, I'm so sorry, it's late today, or I haven't fed you anything all day today. I hope you're not too hungry. I mean, what is hunger? Yet he allows himself to become dependent on the devotee, to feed him, to bathe him, to care for him. If it's cold, increase the heater, put on a chadar. If it is warm, you dress accordingly, open the windows, fragrance, all of this way of he allowing or bringing devotees close to him.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Very beautiful um, relationship dynamics between,
Mhm.
the Lord and its devotee. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have anyone else? Or should we end? For a change, we're ending early today.
I mean, I have something else too if nobody else has.
Okay, go ahead, Pratulya.
So, Prabhu, you said that is it Janak Maharaj you're saying whose like kingdom was on fire and then he didn't respond and I mean really do anything about it because he said
No,
that's the Lord's.
it's not
Um,
mine. He
it's
was
not mine.
free of aham and mama.
So, Prabhu, another perspective is that when we think that something we really feel that that's belongs to Krishna, I mean, it also invokes this feelings of protection. Like, okay, this belongs to
Sure.
Krishna, so we must protect that. So, I just want to contrast these two moods.
What it is showing is not that he doesn't have that, because his senses is the Lord's. Lord will protect it on his own. He's protecting me, he's protecting everyone else. The
Hmm.
other mood is also okay. This belongs to the Lord. On a day to day basis, it may be the case, but when life comes to a threat, that is where the men are separated from the boys. Here, everyone's life is being threatened. That one, Atmanam Sarvato Rakshaya. Prabhupada would quote that phrase. So, first of all, you always take care of yourself so that you can continue Krishna consciousness. But persons don't have to be told that when danger comes, the danger is such that one will snap into protecting oneself.
Hmm.
And the general people were running and going after my property, whatever it was. The sense of aham and mama was strong in everyone else, not in him. It's like that. It's not that he's any less, or that's not the case, but it's a demonstration of he's worry free.
Hmm.
He gives, he takes, he protects, like that.
Basically, whatever Lord wants to do or protect, it will get protected, and he doesn't need
Yeah.
to. Understood.
Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke. That's the spirit.
What should be our mood, Prabhu? Probably not both the extremes,
The,
somewhere in the middle.
these questions don't have an answer. What should be our mood? Because it's not what should be, it is what is. Right?
Or what should be the aspiration, let me say like that.
Well, aspiration is that may I develop a very, very firm, fast, strong relationship with the Lord and his devotees. And whatever is the bhava of that relationship, accordingly one will respond.
Hmm.
Not everyone can look the same or behave the same. It's not required. That's why the Lord has varieties of associates. So each one of us has to find what that looks like for us. Somebody cannot tell us this is how everyone should be. What we can be told by the acharyas is have a very Krishna anukulena. It may always be favorable. Anukulena Krishna anushilana. Or Tavasmi. Oh my dear Lord, I am yours and you are mine. Of my entire possessions, all I want is you.
Hmm.
I'll end with this. There was a great singer, poet, devotee of Sri Ramachandra, famous, who wrote 24,000 songs on Sri Ramachandra in Carnatic music by the name Tyagaraja. Tyagaraja was poor like anything. He had no job, no occupation because he just could not spend a moment without chanting Ramachandra's names. So his older brother was taking care of him, and his older brother and his wife were feeling the burden that Tyagaraja doesn't do anything. I'm the only one who's working. And his wife would add to the agony. Oh, only you're working. Look at your brother squandering everything. Not only is he squandering everything, he's walking everywhere singing, and he has gathered disciples. He's hungry, they're also hungry, and we are having to feed them. Anyway, things become really bad, and the older brother decides to split from his younger brother, and they all lived in one house. So when the split had to be made, the older brother was afraid that my younger brother will ask half the property. So then he asked Tyagaraja, tell me what you want. He said, uh, I want something. He thought he will say, I don't want anything because he's such a tyagi. I don't want anything. So everything will remain with me. But Tyagaraja said, no, I want my share of the property. So the older brother and sister-in-law were extremely scared. What will he ask for? How much will he ask for? He said, the property that I want is the deities of Sita, Rama, Lakshman, and Hanuman. Please don't
Hmm.
say no to it. That's what I want. So the brother and sister-in-law thought, what a nut job. He wants deities. Take it. They happily gave him the deity. And he felt that he got the greatest possession, the deities. That's the strength of his relationship with the Lord. I am yours, you are mine. Anyway, the story continues that he's so attached to his deities that without his asking, people are bringing tons of food and jewelry for the deities, and just suddenly, the deity worship has become very gorgeous. But Tyagaraja himself lives like a very poor man. So the brother is poisoned by the sister-in-law, his wife, that everything is coming because of the deities. So if you separate Tyagaraja from the deities, it'll be devastating for him. I think you should do it. So in the dead of night, his brother steals the deities and throws them in the Godavari river. Whatever river was there. I think it's Godavari, some river there, right? Not Godavari. that's it. Next morning, he wakes up, opens the curtain for the deities, and the deities are not there. Can you imagine? He's in such panic. He's completely broken-hearted, devastated, that he just leaves home, tells his wife, I don't know if I'll ever come back, because if I can't find Ramachandra, there's no use coming back home, and just goes away. Has not eaten for days and days and days, doesn't eat, doesn't drink, doesn't sleep. He's only crying and crying and crying. Even his tears have dried up because there's no more tears, like that condition, and wrote songs of separation. And his wife at home also is not eating because her husband has not eaten, has gone away, until the deities manifest back to him from the river.
Wow.
So for me, that relationship is far, far away, but it's aspirational. Wow. How are they attached like that? Hmm? Amazing. These sages, I mean, this one, they're like that. So many, amazing, amazing.
Out of the world.
Literally out of the world. Okay, we'll end here. It's 9:30. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say something and be inspired, and hopefully it contributes to your spiritual life in some way. I'm honored to have this opportunity. Thank you. Shri Shri Sitarama Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki